Hello folks, and welcome back to True Crime Phenomenon. This is Josh coming back with another Jeremy Dewitte video. Now, I just wanted to say hello to everyone. I'm back from vacation and I brought a special surprise with me. It's called the virus. I got it again, so if anybody remembers, that's when I started my channel back in February is when I got the virus, so here we are again. Anyhow, as way of introduction, Jeremy Dewitte is a serial police impersonator going back to his first arrest in 1998 for impersonating a police officer. He's currently in prison for multiple felonies. Now, this interview is regarding his arrest on March 23rd, 2021, which led to Sgt Vidler getting fired and Corporal Ramsey getting an unpaid suspension. Deep background to the story, I'll be doing a video on that shortly. Also, just want to say that all the votes are in, and looks like we're doing Chad and Lori Daybell, but I'm also going to be doing Anthony Tote. So I'm putting some clips together. We're going to start getting that one together, and eventually that'll get released, okay? This interview takes place between Sergeant Justin Wall and Lieutenant Calvin Cal Wacker. What a name. On May 10th, 2021 at 10:54 a.m. And it's an administrative investigation into Sgt Vidler and Corporal Ramsey regarding their conduct with Jeremy Dewitte, and it directly stems from that arrest on the 23rd of March 2021. Not quite sure why Ramsey was even involved with it. He was told to go interview the guy by Lieutenant Crabbe. You guys all heard it in the interview. Makes no sense to me. Anyhow, I'm going to let you go ahead and make up your mind here on all the rest of the stuff. I'll just give you a little overview of who Cal Wacker is. Who Lieutenant Wacker, I can't even say his name without laughing. Anyways, who this lieutenant is. He's lieutenant over the motors unit back then, even still to today. So he's essentially their boss. And the guy who oversaw all of this, he actually got a call while Sgt Vidler was making an arrest from Sgt Vidler. So everybody was aware of this. I don't know why they're shocked. And he goes into the differences of how Jeremy would conceal and carry, and how you can tell that it was a pepper ball before, and how you cannot tell with this particular weapon. And that's the whole point, in my opinion. Okay, so please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the other side.
I'm Sergeant Justin Wall of the Orange County Sheriff's Office Professional Standards Section. Today's date is May 10th, 2021, and the current time is 10:54 a.m. This interview has been conducted at the Office of Professional Standards located at 2500 West Colonial Drive. I'm interviewing. Can you state your rank and name for me?
Lieutenant Calvin Wacker.
Okay. Lieutenant Wacker, are you aware that I'm recording this interview?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone threatened, coerced, or offered you any preferential treatment to give this statement?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol that may impair your testimony?
No, sir. Raise
your right hand so I can swear you in. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're to provide will be true and correct?
I do.
Okay. All right. So as we briefly discussed, I'm conducting an investigation into an administrative investigation into Sgt Vidler and Corporal Ramsey in regards to their conduct with Mr. Jeremy Dewitte. First off, what's your current rank and your responsibilities?
I'm the lieutenant over the motors unit.
And were those your responsibilities on March 23rd, 2021?
Yes, sir.
Were you aware that Sgt Vidler had made an arrest on Mr. Dewitte on March 23rd?
Yes, sir. He called me.
Were you present for the arrest?
No, sir.
All right. Were you present at the office later on when Mr. Dewitte was brought back to the Sector 4 substation?
No, sir.
Okay. How did you become aware? You said he called you.
He called me. Standard operating procedure with Metro State has been since day one. Called the captain. Captain put it upstairs, and then it came back down. So I called acting captain Crabbe, said that Vidler had arrested him on I-4. Crabbe asked me to have Vidler write him an email so he could forward it up to the major, I believe. And I called Vidler back. I said, when you get a chance, send me an email that states your PC and all that other stuff. I went over to Harley Davidson to talk to Rob, the mechanic over there. Some time passed. I never got the email. So I called Vidler. I said, "Where's the email?" He said, "I'm with Crab." And I said, "Okay, well then don't worry about it." And that's kind of the end of mine. I went to lunch with Rob Crane and Yuri Melich right after that. And everything else that happened, I found out about the next day, I guess, for the most part.
So when did you first become aware about the arrest? Did Sergeant Vidler call you?
He called me.
Did he call you on the traffic stop or after?
He just called me and said, "I've just arrested Jeremy Dewitte."
Okay.
I think that was his words, but he, yeah.
Okay. Did you get the impression he was still on the traffic stop?
Yes.
Okay. So what did he tell you the charges were?
I don't know that I asked. Oh, he said carrying concealed weapon.
Okay. Did he kind of describe to you the circumstances or his PC?
No, he just told me. I said, "Are you alone up there?" Or he said, "No, Reeves is with me."
Okay. So he didn't go into.
No, sir.
Here's.
No.
He said carrying concealed weapon, but he didn't tell you his actual circumstances behind how he reached that.
If he did, it was brief, but I don't remember that conversation if we had it. He just said he may have told me he was, and I may have learned this afterwards too, that he was going up I-4. He saw 2 Metro State bikes. He looked at the one and he saw what appeared to be a handgun in the holster, and he stopped him.
Okay. So were you aware at that time when you first talked to him on the traffic stop that the weapon he was referring to was a pepper ball gun?
No, sir.
But you knew it wasn't a firearm, right? He said carrying concealed weapon specifically. It wasn't carrying concealed firearm charge, right?
I remember him saying carrying concealed weapon. As has been standard operating procedure, I said, "Well, I got to run it up because it's Dewitte." So I think I disconnected and I called Crab and told him.
Okay. So do you believe there's probable cause based on what Sergeant Vidler told you?
During the traffic stop?
Probable cause
Now
for the
or
arrest?
when?
At the time of the traffic stop when he first explained to you what was going on.
I didn't question him about the probable cause.
Okay. He just told you I have PC for, or
He said
going to jail for.
I arrested him for carrying a concealed weapon.
Okay. So you said after that you went to lunch. Did you ever go back to the Sector 4 substation
No,
when they
sir.
were conducting an interview?
No. I don't think I found out about the interview until the following morning when we were doing the funeral escort.
Okay.
Because I didn't talk to, the only conversation I had after that was that I think Crab called me in the afternoon and said, "Hey, they're having Vidler on arrest." And I said, "Oh, okay." And then that following morning I found out that they called back, supposedly. So what I'm getting from Crab, that they said, "Don't worry about unarresting him, he's bonding out." And then I found out the next morning he was still in jail because Osceola, I guess, had put a hold on him or something like that. So that's...
Okay.
But the interview and stuff, I didn't know that was conducted until the following morning.
Okay. So as Sergeant Vidler's supervisor, did you question him further as to anything about the probable cause for the arrest, or you just took his word for it?
No, I took his word for it, and when he told me that he was with Crab at the office, I assumed that DeWitte was in jail. He was doing his paperwork at the office, and that he had briefed him in face-to-face.
Okay. So did you have any part in reviewing any statutes, case law, jury instructions, anything before Mr. DeWitte was booked into jail?
No.
With Mr. Vidler or Sergeant Vidler or
No.
Rick Crabb or anybody?
Nope.
Okay. Did you ever see the pepperball gun? Physically see it?
Maybe a picture.
Okay. But not the actual gun.
No, it would have been a few days later, too.
Okay. So seeing the pepperball gun in the holster, a picture of it, do you believe that meets the definition of a concealed weapon?
I believe later on I was shown the jury instructions on a concealed weapon, And then you also have to realize that Dewitte's a convicted felon. So, I mean, I'd have to go into it deeper, but yeah, because here's how we used to differentiate between Dewitte and their weapons. All his weapons used to have a CO2 cartridge, silver one, it stuck out of the butt plate of here, and this one did not. And I don't know what kind of projectiles this one fired or anything like that, because like I said, I didn't see the weapon itself.
Okay.
I was just told it was a pepper ball gun.
Okay. But do you believe, you said afterwards, you said you reviewed the jury instructions?
I think Keith showed them to me when there started to be some questions. It might have been during the funeral when we were waiting.
So the day after?
And he said, these are the jury instructions. Yeah. And I read them, and yeah, it kind of fits into the jury instructions as to what a concealed firearm is. Because you have no way of differentiating between what's in that holster. To me, it looks like open carry, because it could be an open carry weapon, and that may have been a better charge. I don't know. But, you know, the weapon's concealed, and you don't know it's a pepper ball gun until, you know. I'll tell you what, if you pulled it on me, I'd shoot.
Yeah, and I don't know that.
There's no way to differentiate between that firearm and a real firearm.
Okay, so that was kind of what you discussed about the concealed part of it.
We never.
Can you? I guess
we really never
question
discussed it. I think because Sergeant Vidler was being questioned about the PC and told to unarrest. I think that's how we got in a conversation, and I
this
think
was the following day.
Following day, or maybe the day after. Yeah,
Okay.
it wasn't the day of.
Okay.
Like I said, other than the call from Crab saying they just ordered us to unarrest him. That was all. That's the only thing that I had to do with any of it after the initially calling Crab and telling him.
Okay.
And telling Keith.
But my question is, like, here's a firearm in a holster, right?
Yep.
Is this concealed?
Per the jury instructions, yeah.
Based on what?
Have you read the jury instructions?
I have.
It says that.
I have them actually.
Well, it basically says there's something in there that basically says that the weapon does not have to be totally concealed to be a concealed weapon, which means if you've got it under your coat and someone sees it, that's technically concealed.
All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there. There's a lot of information in that first 10 minutes, so I want you guys to kind of ponder, chat about it in the comments below. Let me know what you think. I really feel like Lieutenant Wacker, though he's got a wonderful, terrific name, I feel like he is actually on Vidler's side and is reading the laws and statutes the way that Vidler would or did. And I like him. I kind of like this guy. He's a little surly, and you can tell Justin Walt doesn't like him at all. I'll be doing a video going through the statute and what I think about it, and kind of how that plays out. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. There's somebody who said, hey, you should do a video about this. Please put it in the comments here. I don't quite recall what that was, but remind me. Are there any other videos you want to see? And I'll do them, okay? Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the other side on the next video. Goodbye.